All right. It might be. It could be. It is. It's Nerdside Champs. It's Dan and Tim. We're back. Jason will be here. He has been here. He's been coming. He's been going. But
It's
we're
been
back again,
it's
everybody.
been quite the marathon trying to get Jason's internet to work with us here tonight.
Yeah.
So
His
anyway,
internet
cool.
doesn't like our internet, and our internet doesn't like his internet.
That's
But
right.
we're gonna keep trying. We're gonna grind away, and hopefully he will be here shortly. In the meantime, we are here again to discuss that wondrous of all shows, Alien Earth, and the nonstop thrill fest that it has turned into. Tim, how thrilled are you? How edge of the seat
Oh
are
boy.
you?
Oh man. This was nonstop action from start to finish. This is like Return of the Jedi, Return of the King, and the entire Infinity Saga all rolled into one. It was just so exciting, so amazing, so fresh. No, it was pretty tedious, and we are going to get into that because boy was it another long, spacious filler episode. So
Yeah,
definitely. I
yeah,
kind of wanted Jason to be here because I was going to give Jason a lot of props here. Jason absolutely called this 2 weeks ago, and when he said it, I kind of laughed a little bit in my head because I thought that's not the direction the story is going at all. I don't know what he's talking about. He said he predicted that Wendy was going to be able to communicate and tell a xenomorph to attack somebody. And I believe now he is 1000% correct. Okay. So, Jason, got to give you props. You absolutely called it. And I don't know what you saw in those first two episodes that led you to believe that that was going to be the case, but it absolutely is the direction the story went. So yeah, got to give him props there.
Jason's computer is rebooting, and he will be
Okay.
with us. Okay, so I will say while we're waiting for Jason, and I probably should have waited, but we gotta talk about stuff because Jason also likes music. But I like Jane's Addiction. I like Ben Caught Stealing. That's a lot of fun. But this was a big drop off from Metallica last week. I
Yeah,
thought we were
I,
headed
I mean,
somewhere.
I Jane's Addiction is like C tier compared to the bands that they left off with. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm kind of like it's like we started with Black Sabbath, then we went to Tool, and then what was last week? Metallica,
Metallica.
and
It was
then and then
Metallica.
and then we're down to Jane's Addiction, which I'm with you,
Yeah,
Dan. It's like
yeah,
okay, it's not like it was a terrible song, and it's not like Jane's Addiction is a terrible band, but the drop off from the other three is just pretty significant. So
yeah,
I'm kind
yeah.
of
That
I, I
it's just
I'm
not left
kind of
field.
disappointed that they didn't have any other metal pull that they could have done. I
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Because Jane's Addiction, that's not metal. That's alternative rock, and
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
yeah.
know. I was seriously disappointed in that. I was almost as disappointed in that as I was the pet xenomorph because after the pet xenomorph, all I had to console me was like, well, maybe they'll play some Pantera now or some Megadeth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, I was not to get any Megadeth or Slayer. I got Jane's Addiction, and I was double
Mhm.
sad because no consolation for Dan, just sitting there watching Wendy pet her xenomorph, which is just
Yeah.
when they become friendly, they become even more phallic.
Yeah.
Don't you
Yeah,
think?
exactly. I
It
kind
just
of feel like the idea behind the monster when it was introduced to us in what 1979. Okay, the
yeah, yeah, I
idea
think so.
is that it was a mindless, bloodthirsty monster, right? That
Yes,
there were
yes, that
no
was the
there were no motives. There's no communication. There's no personality. It's just a bloodthirsty monster. And so this idea that first of all that it has this deep thinking brain, and that it can communicate, and that communication is something that we can use to tame it, and domesticate it. That's just silly, and it's beyond anything that we need. I mean, when we're talking about the main antagonist of a monster movie, you just don't ever see that, right? We don't see them. We don't see them get to the point where they're able to communicate and tame Godzilla, or or the Blob or something. I mean, that's just silly. And so we have definitely entered the goofy realm. It's not anything that I'm excited about moving forward. I'm just sad that there's 4 episodes left. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very sad that there's 4 episodes left. So yeah, I know.
But
So yeah.
Jason, tell me, like, Jason is more steeped. He's watched the movies more recently than we have. But my understanding of a xenomorph is that it's a drone. It's like, they're parasitic insectoid animals, and the xenomorphs are like drones. They're part of a hive mind. Like, the idea that it would be tamed and become like your pet, it doesn't really have independent thought, right? I mean, am I right? Or did I misunderstand the movies?
No, it's the ultimate killing machine. Like, it mixes this alien DNA that we found out from Prometheus, like from some ancient beings known as the engineers, and it mixes with human DNA, and then it bursts out of your chest, and it can't be stopped unless you shoot it in the space, or you're a predator and you can cut it in half.
So there we go. Yeah, so you can't tame it, and I was going to hold off on this rant, but I've got to let it out, because the new Predator movie's coming out soon, where we watch the android train the young impressionable predator to be a better predator, and we feel so bad for the predator. And
good guy predator.
And the Acolyte has happened, and Disney owns all this stuff, and they think they're so smart, but they only have one move. They have one move, and it is the monstrous villain is actually the misunderstood hero. That is their only move. It's totally original, even though this is the 5th time they've done it in like 3 years. and I just looked it up. Because I wanted to get these dates right. And this isn't even the first instance, but this is like one of the first instances in popular culture, right? The novel Wicked was released in 1995. 1995. Do you see the gray in this beard? I graduated high school in 1997. 1997. So I was a sophomore in high school when the novel Wicked came out. The play debuted in 2003, which is what made it. So that was where you took the Wicked Witch of the West and made her the misunderstood hero. And maybe that was kind of a little bit of original idea in 1995. Okay, it's 2025. Right now. And you've done it 5 times in 3 years. I'm just glad that Disney has not bought New Line, because I do not need the 8-part miniseries about the struggles and the persecution of the minor attracted person, Frederick Krueger. I don't need to see the sympathetic Freddy and how the parents didn't understand his map personality and how we really should have just cut him some slack.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Talk about New Line Cinema, man. Let's hear how the Shredder was misunderstood. Let's hear about. I mean, I'm with you, Dan. There's a lot of good ones just sitting there in New Line Cinema. That's for sure.
Yeah. I know that would be Disney. It would be on Hulu. Well, Hulu's going away, so it'd be Disney Plus. Frederick Krueger, misunderstood.
Jason Voorhees, not a bad guy. I mean,
not a bad guy.
Yeah, not a bad guy.
He was a special needs kid. I mean, come on.
All he wanted to do was make mommy happy. That's all he wanted to do.
All he wanted to do. And those poor kids wouldn't let him.
Yeah. So that's what we're stuck with nowadays. Disney is looking for like, hey, Bob Iger has sent out the douchebag signal. And if you have any IPs that they haven't destroyed yet, if you
Go
can
get there.
think one up and be like, hey, Bob, you know what? Marty McFly's still cool. Why don't you
Oh,
buy Back
no.
to the Future and
Oh,
take
yeah.
a dump on that?
Oh,
You know what
dude.
I'm saying? Like, hey, Bob.
I will riot.
Yeah. Hey, man, Tom Wilson is still out there. We could hear the misunderstood tales of Biff Tannen. Okay, we absolutely could. So he's still out there looking for work, right? So
I'm looking forward to the Free Willy version of Jaws.
that's right.
Because really,
shark, you know,
really, in all actuality, the xenomorph, like Jaws 1 and Alien, are really close to each other. Like, it's basically the same principle. You're in a foreign place, and there's something that is designed to kill you to come kill you. Like, so basically, if we can have pet xenomorphs, why not have pet sharks?
Yeah, well, and it's really interesting because a lot of what happened in this episode reminded me very much of a lot of the stuff that happened in Fallen Kingdom. It's like it's very, when you get to the point where the monster is now some kind of altered monster that we can read its thinking and we can kind of tell it what to do, and that's so silly, man. We're talking about dinosaurs, we're talking about aliens. It's not that hard, man. You know, the worst thing that these franchises do, and the worst thing that these IPs do, is when they think they have to come up with something totally fresh and totally new. You don't have to. If you have a dinosaur franchise, for example, like Jurassic Park, it's not that hard, man. You know, give us a pretty linear story where dinosaurs chase people. That's really all we want. That's really all anybody wants. I don't need to hear about all the corporate stuff. I don't need to hear about all the ideas back and forth about whether or not, you know, we should sell this stuff or keep it or what. I don't need all that. All right. All I need is dinosaurs chasing people. That's really all I need. And it's the same thing with Jaws. It's really not that hard of a concept, man. Have some people in the water, have them having fun and in bikinis and careless and doing nothing. And then all of a sudden, oh no, there's a shark in the water. It's not that hard, man. With Alien, it's really not that hard, right? It's really not that hard. We've got Alien, we've got people. That's really all you need. The alien chasing the people. And we haven't had alien chasing. We haven't had alien chasing people in 2 episodes.
No, we haven't.
Now we haven't had aliens chasing people in 2 episodes. It's ridiculous.
All you need is new and interesting groups of people.
That's it.
For the xenomorph to kill. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
You need to spend about 40 minutes making us care about these people so that we can get excited when the xenomorph kills them.
Absolutely.
They need to take, you know what they need to take a note from? A few years ago, there was a sequel to the Evil Dead movies called Evil Dead Rise. It was Evil Dead in an apartment complex.
Yeah.
Just do that. Put a xenomorph. You have the apartment complex. Just give me that show.
Yeah, the xenomorph was in the apartment complex.
We were there.
The easiest storyline is often the best storyline, and unfortunately, it's not the storyline that any of these studios go for. This is what Top Gun Maverick was. It was the easiest storyline possible, right?
Exactly.
You know, it's real simple. This many years later, Maverick is now training people for a mission. How hard was that? How hard was that? Put Tom Cruise in the cockpit and have us be introduced to a few people that he's training, and that's it. You know, it really was not that hard. And when you're looking at these stories, you need to go for the simplest story possible, because if you go for this overly complicated, we're going to add layers and we're going to add things you didn't know about this universe, and we're going to add things you didn't know about these creatures, and we're going to add things you didn't know about the races of people, and we're going to do, you're getting way too complicated, man. All right. You've taken what should be a slam dunk and turned it into something that honestly, I can't, there's 4 episodes of this left. What am I going to do for 4 episodes? It's ridiculous.
You know what pisses me off the most? They don't learn from their mistakes. we did this already in Prometheus. Like nobody liked that movie
Absolutely.
because
Nobody.
it wasn't alien.
Yeah. Like nobody cares about the origins.
No.
And again,
No.
nobody will leave anything unexplored. Like
Exactly.
when we grew up, everything was so cool. Like, but why was Boba Fett cool?
Because you didn't know anything about him.
Anything.
Why is Michael
Why
Myers
was Wolverine cool? Yeah, you didn't know. You didn't know. Wolverine was cool because you didn't know his origin, and neither did he. And like they would tease you every year and a half in the comics. Ooh, we're gonna tell you Wolverine's origin, and it would just be bullshit again. But that was great because like you were guessing and you didn't know. Like the mystery is better than the knowledge, than the knowing. So not knowing the origin of xenomorphs or what their home planet is like, that's cool. That's cool. We don't even want to know where they came from. Or it's a killing machine. It's a killing machine in space. It's got kind of a hive mind thing going on. I don't know any more than that. They're parasites. They suck on your face. They bust out of your chest, and then they eat you. I mean, that's great.
That's pretty rad. Like, that's kind of rad.
Yeah.
I don't know,
man.
That's kind of like,
No, it's like
to watch this episode. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, it's like the probably the classic example that I think just got completely and totally exposed for this is the Joker. All right. I don't need to know the Joker's origins, or I don't need to know the Joker's inspirations, or I don't need to know a story that the Joker learned from and became. I don't need to know any of that. Okay. What makes the Joker great is that issue to issue, he isn't even consistent with his own motivations. He's so all over the place that you don't know what he's going to do at any given moment. And that's what made it so terrifying, is you don't know all the profile and all the stuff and all the background. You know, they did a great job of that in The Dark Knight, right? They made him as mysterious as they possibly could. And then all of a sudden we've got these two movies with Joaquin Phoenix where we're going to try to go into a deeper dive of how he became the Joker, or maybe he's not the Joker and maybe he just inspired the Joker. There's all these other things, but why do we need to get into that, right? When you've got something that is just so innately evil in a big franchise that's been successful, you just need to take the money and run with it. You don't need to fix what isn't broken. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to fix something that's not broken.
Yeah. One of the best Joker stories ever is The Killing Joke. And
absolutely,
it's like this origin story being told by the Joker, and it's really a compelling origin story. And then at the end, though, the best part is it gets to the end, and the Joker's like, "Well, at least that's the way I tell it. Sometimes I don't really even remember."
Exactly.
You know, like maybe that's what happened.
Well, and
maybe I just made all this up.
And in The Dark Knight, he tells his origin story of his scars like 2 or 3 times, and it's never the same. And it's hilarious that it's never the same, right? Even as terrifying as it is to hear him tell it, it's great that it's never the same, because it's not. It's within the character to be mysterious. If you don't have that, then you don't really have the nature of what this real pure evil is. Okay. And so I feel like that's just one of those things that when we get into anything to make a xenomorph sympathetic, we have totally dropped the ball. We've failed the Alien franchise just on that alone. So
just like I know Jason will be like Han Solo. We don't need to know exactly what the Kessel Run is.
No,
you know what I'm saying? We just need to know that he made it in those parsecs, and that the Millennium Falcon is fast. That's all we need to know. You know, so
and to be completely honest, that the reason I don't like that movie is because that movie, Emilia Clarke's character, is one of those things that we never see again, and it just feels to me like basically Han Solo had a whole other wife that we never knew about, and it's just ridiculous. Why would we do that? You know.
Well, Jason is sort of kind of back here. I'll add his empty thing to the stage.
Oh, there's the circle of death right there.
We will observe the circle of death while we launch into the comments.
That's right.
John said, much like last week, pacing was very slow. It's not that the show is uninteresting; it's just too long. It doesn't seem to be alien focused. So yeah, I was talking to you about this. The beginning part of the episode, which was slow but vaguely interesting.
Mhm.
They've gotten to where these slow philosophical spiritual questions are actually more interesting than the alien plots, because the alien plots are
Yeah.
pet xenomorphs.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah. Well, and I feel like there's just a lot of space, a lot of filler, a lot of things that could take 3 or 4 seconds that they're ending up taking like a minute, minute and a half, or something that could take 2 or 3 minutes that ends up taking 7, 8 minutes. Those are the kind of scenes that just are not. I feel like if we're wasting that kind of time, we could have just made one big like made for TV movie and done it efficiently rather than drag this thing out for 8 hours or whatever it's going to be. So I just feel like there's a lot of wasted time.
I feel like a perfect example, the existential crisis of the lab guy, who we found out this week is the husband of the caretaker woman. And did anybody care? Does that matter? Did that move you?
Not at all. Not at all. No.
And I think we knew that he wasn't satisfied just by the expressions that he made. Like, the expressions that he made in the group scenes, everything that we learned in the dialogue, we already knew by the faces he was making. So we didn't need
absolutely.
that. The only new information that was conveyed is that they were married, basically.
And it took so long to get that information, right? I mean, and it's just like, I don't know. It's like you said, Dan, in some instances, they come right out and tell you the secret like right away. And then in some things, they just drag it on. And here we are in episode 4. And they're like, by the way, they're married. And it's what? So it feels like we could have just got to that a lot sooner, and it feels like it could have been just addressed a lot sooner and just moved on. It wouldn't have been any big mysterious thing. So anyway,
like Wendy and her brother, that could have been some, like, they could have slow rolled that revelation, and that would have been compelling. But slow rolling this,
not at all.
These two side characters are married. That's not compelling at all. That's just
not at all.
I don't know. Yeah. So let's see. Do one and a couple. So Jason, I think Windows has wrestled control of Jason's computer from him and is doing the updates and the restarts. And he's going to be hitting us in the comments with his thoughts. So we need to keep our eyes peeled for that. But yeah, this is just, and again, like, if the point of that scene was to find out that they were married, then they could have had just like a quick like conversation. Oh, I'll make you dinner later and we'll talk about this. But like him going into detail about protocols, and he sent them into this battle situation, and it's like, dude, I know he's not happy about it. Like, he's been making faces for like 2 episodes now. Yeah, those faces told me everything I needed to know about that. So I get what you're saying. It's like some of this stuff is just like, it's like they're buying time. They're trying to fill out the runtime for a certain number of episodes. Yeah, this is definitely stuff that would be on the cutting room floor if we were making a movie.
For sure.
Why is the cyborg guy into getting a human face hug? I don't know. Maybe he feels.
I'm a little unclear on this storyline myself. So he went to the dude's. He went to the guy's mom and the guy's family's house or whatever, right? And is essentially threatening to kill the guy's family unless he can take a human to an egg, let the thing suck on the face, and then bring the human to him. And so this is just kind of what's weird. Wasn't so his mission was to get those specimens, right? And he's clearly focused on that. But what to what end here are we trying to get the specimens? Because I mean, I guess where I'm kind of confused is, isn't there another way to obtain what we're looking at here? Rather than get somebody face hugged and then bring them in. I don't know. It all seems
Well,
very weird what he's asking, and it seems like maybe it's just convenient plot moving stuff so that we can see somebody get face hugged. But I don't know. I don't know what do you think, Dan?
I don't like what's what's the name of I don't know.
I
The
forget the
risk.
dude's name. Yeah.
Let's just call him Dupender because that's a name that I could remember. We might get canceled, but I'm going to call him
Yeah.
Dupender. So he hacks into Dupender's brain and he sends him to go steal an egg. And I guess he realizes that this like 8-year-old mentality is not going to be slick enough to figure out how to smuggle out one of these giant xenomorph eggs, the face hugger.
That's probably right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But I don't see how it's a simpler task for him to trick a human, of which there are very few available to him. He's got his
Yeah.
other hybrids. There's not a cyborg, but what do they call the pure androids? Android. Yeah, there's Timothy Oliphant's there. There's not a whole lot of like regular humans walking around. And I don't think he's smarter than either the caretaker woman or the scientist or boy genius. He's not going to trick one of them into getting face hugged. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But this is pitched as the simpler plan is you're going to trick somebody into coming in here, getting their face hugged. You're going to hide them in a closet for 2 days. Nobody's going to notice.
Yeah.
They're going to wake up and you're going to walk them right out the door. And that's going to be so much simpler. Like, if you want a simple plan, the simple plan would be for the cyborg guy to tell Depender, like, hey, meet me at the East Wing door at 5 p.m. next Thursday and let me in and I will steal an egg. That seems like the plan.
Does this seem even maybe he could just find a human and do it himself? Does that sound like a better way for him to get in touch with? I mean, I don't know. The whole thing is just weird to me. But Jason says everything must be gone over in extreme detail, and that's what we were talking about before. And then he says this ties into the android's ultimate objective from the movie. So that's basically what he's saying. This is that this all is about. But once again, it seems relatively inefficient compared to what we could be doing in order to get the specimens back. So
if you want the specimen, I think there are better plans to be had.
I would think so too. But
and if you can hack one of them, of the Lost Boys, like why don't you hack 3 or 4? And then travel around and threaten all of their families. You get like a hybrid uprising. Like that. I feel like that's a good plan.
Yeah, for sure.
But now you're stuck with Dupender, and that's the only one you got. The redhead going insane was a pretty predictable storyline. I don't remember which Lost Boy she is either, so I'm going to call her Molly because to me she looks like Molly Ringwald. Does she not look like Molly Ringwald? Like I'm.
Oh no, she absolutely. If this was 1986, she would be played by Molly Ringwald, 1000%.
Yeah.
So
maybe this might be her niece or her daughter or something.
I have no idea. That would would be an interesting thing to look into. But I will say this. I will say that the setup from the last episode into that character is something that I think we all kind of saw coming to head. That she was going to probably be one that was a little bit more unhinged. These are still kids that we're dealing with, so it's really hard to see, when we're dealing with the emotions of kids and things like that. But we're getting into some territory now that's going to be a little more dangerous with the fact that we are dealing with kids. So, and then Jason asked us here, hey, do you think that she's pregnant or hearing the aliens? And I don't think she's pregnant. Okay. Because
no,
I don't think she's pregnant. I think she's crazy, and I think that's going to be part of the storyline here. So, is the fact
we're not going to have immaculate android conception. They don't have wombs. The lady tried to show her a diagram to be like, you don't have a womb. There's no baby because like you're rubbing belly there, but just like you don't have a stomach and you don't eat anymore, you also can't carry an infant anymore because white goo. That's what's inside.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, she's just totally cuckoo bananas. Maybe she is healing the aliens, but I think she's just cuckoo bananas. I just think she's kind of nuts.
Yeah. Well,
she was leaning on the nuts.
now was there ever any kind of discussion about how the aliens could be heard? Did she know that Wendy could hear the aliens? Have they discussed that at all or anything? Because I'm wondering why she's saying that. I'm wondering if maybe she's just trying to, because once again she's trying to be the new favorite, right? So
no, she's not. You're still getting her confused with the dark-headed girl, Tim.
Oh, that's right. It's the dark-headed girl that wants to be the new favorite. That's right. So yeah,
and she was actually that girl was in the lab. Curly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So Nibs, the redhead, Molly, as I call her.
Yeah, Molly
is Nibs. Nibs. Dwight, as we'll call her from now on, the Schrute of the group, the Dwight Schrute, who wants to be the assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Curly. Okay,
Curly.
So Curly was, Curly does know that Wendy can hear the aliens because she made the alien sound.
She was there, but not the redhead. Okay, gotcha.
Not the redhead.
Gotcha.
Yeah. See, Curly is not crazy. She's just a climber. She's the Dwight Schrute. So we got to give our own names because these Peter Pan names aren't sticking. Let's see. Reached going. Let's see. I still hate the brother. I hope he does get lured to the eggs just so I can see what nonsense the writers cook up to let him survive. Yeah, losing a lung didn't seem to be a big deal in this timeline.
And then they were just like, oh, and because of that, you're not allowed to leave. I thought that was really weird. They're like, no, you can't leave because reasons. You know what I mean? I thought that was really weird. So it was very interesting. It was very, very interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's I guess medical billing in the distant alien future is a lot more severe than medical billing today.
Yeah, no socialized medicine in the future. That's right. It's not it's not happening.
Know a lot about we know a lot about credit because we worked in business where people borrow money. And hot tip, folks, if there's a bill that you don't pay, don't pay your medical bills. Like if you can't, if you can pay all your bills, pay all your bills. I'm not advocating that. If you have the money, pay your bills. But if you don't have the money, the one to not pay is your medical bills. And if you stop paying your medical bills and you want to buy something like a house or a car, you're still going to be able to do that because the banks are like, screw the medical bill. So, but apparently in the future, they're a lot more serious about
it's like slave labor. It's like, no, you're not even allowed to leave the building. You know what I mean? Like, hold on a second.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get he could leave, but they're going to bill him. And he seemed very scared by that prospect. The prospect of being billed for that lung snapped him out of it real fast. I mean,
that
not being able to see his sister.
Yeah, that whole story though, and that character is just something that is getting tired. I am very, very tired of seeing the brother. I'm very tired of seeing the brother in situations where I don't think that the brother should make it or should have any. I mean, and he's clearly going to be the target of the guy to take him to the eggs. It's clear that that's going to be the thing. And I don't know, man. There's just there's a lot here with this character that I just don't like. When we have one character that's infallible, it's one thing, but we have two in this series, and that's just almost too much for me. Oh. Hello? Dan? Oh.
Oh.
There he is.
I'm back.
Okay.
We're back.
There he is. You were gone
Okay.
for about 10. You were gone for about 15 seconds, and I was like, Dan, because I finally
Yeah,
got
we
done
were
talking.
gone, and
So
I was
anyway,
gone. I saw that I was gone. I couldn't see you either.
but
I don't
anyway,
know what the people at home saw.
but yeah, I was just saying this character. I'm tired of him kind of having this ridiculous plot armor. But anyway,
Yeah. Why he turned down her ears.
oh yeah, he turned down her ears so that might be the reason why. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's pretty funny.
The brother, I don't know, like not being able to see her, it slowed him down, sort of, but he still wanted to leave.
Mhm.
It was like, oh, we're gonna bill you for that lung. And it's like, oh shit.
Yeah,
No, I'm down. I'll be your Huckleberry. I
yeah,
got you, man. Yeah, and yeah, he is just he should not have survived.
uh-huh.
And the fact that he did, and now his reactions are all kind of odd. Like, oh, I'm gonna take her home, and it's like I saw your house, I saw your place,
Yeah.
where you shared like
Mm,
a house with that nice, what was it, a Hispanic family or Asian family?
yeah,
I don't remember. And he watched projected Ice Age on a sheet so that
yeah,
the kids could watch it on the other side. And it's like, you know what? Like, I would really think staying with her on that island would be better for both of you. That seems
yeah,
like a way
yeah.
better option than, oh, let me take you home to this apartment that I share with these people. And I did just lose my job because I threw a stink at the company that gave you this cool Android body. But
That's right.
John Snow does nothing. The creepy sheep giving me Independence Day vibes behind the glass. Yeah, that I don't know. The eyeball alien is
It might be the dumbest thing in the show. It might be the dumbest thing in the show is the
yeah,
eyeball alien, and the fact that they picked this sheep in order to do it, and we got to see. This is the first time that we've seen it do the full parasitic thing, and boy,
yeah.
it was weird. It was creepy. The sheep just stood there looking at you the whole time, like it was weird, man. Once again, xenomorphs are enough. I don't need different species of aliens. All that I don't need that. Just give me the xenomorphs chasing people. That's all I want. So
Yeah. And that eyeball, there were certain angles where the CG looked passable, and then there were other angles where it looked very much cartoon.
yeah,
And in all of the shots, it always looked like a design that does not need to be in the Alien franchise. It looks like a reject from an Addams Family sequel.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
this
yeah,
this was a creature for Wednesday. This should have been on
yeah,
Wednesday and not Alien Earth. It's
yeah,
just
for sure.
not. It's
Good
it's
call.
it's creepy and it's kooky. It might be altogether ooky, but it is not
Yeah,
scary or terrifying.
yeah,
With
yeah,
with all of its eyes that merge into one iris and pupil once it's taken control of something, and then we get the sheep giving the dead eye. That's just not it. I was not afraid of that sheep. So
yeah.
Jason was talking
Something's
about
gonna
the
happen with that sheep. I can just in the next episode, something is gonna happen with that stupid sheep, and I can just see
yeah
it, and it's going to be dumb. So
yeah
anyway,
Jason was talking about ice and age you can get.
but all the
Where did
ice
he?
age you can get, all the ice
Oh,
age
all
you
the
can get.
ice age you can get. Yes. See, that's why he needs to take her home so they can watch all
Yeah,
the ice age. They can share a sheet with those small children on the other side, and just
yeah,
it'll be so much better than this private island that they live on now. I'm starting to think your thing is just hating on good things for clicks. This show is almost flawless from an acting and film. It is so
no,
not.
it's not.
It is so
It's so
not.
not. Like
Yeah,
here's the thing I'll say. The one thing I will say, like positive about the show, is I think the sets are very well done. I think that the sets are good. You can actually see the money. It's not like they went like acolyte cheap, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, you can actually see the money. They didn't go acolyte cheap. They got actual actors that are doing a passable job at the characters that were written, but the characters that were written were so ridiculous. And that's the main issue that I'm having with the show is this shouldn't have been a story about Prodigy and these hybrid androids. That's not really what it should have been. This should have been just a story where you introduce an interesting group of people and have them chased by aliens. That's what it should have been, and they dropped the ball on that. So because
Yeah.
of that, I just can't get behind it. I can't get behind. The writing is bad. The characters that they've introduced us to are not great, and so it's really hard for me to get behind it. You know, is the cinematography pretty good? Yeah, it's pretty good. They're using the practical effects. They're still using the suit, which I love, but
Yeah.
that doesn't take away from the fact that they've given us just a terrible story. At the end of the day, story is what drives these things. And they've got 8 hours and it's just not a compelling story. For 8 hours, you have to have a compelling story. It has to have
I
me on the edge of my seat.
I feel like we could have spent half of this series on that ship that they
Yeah.
gave us in the first episode with those characters, which in that like initial establishing, I don't know if it was a 5 or 10 minute, it might have been a 3. The scene where they were eating and talking,
Mm-hmm.
like those characters were all more interesting than the characters we have now. Just
Sure.
in that
And they killed
little
them
bit of
and
time.
they killed all of them off screen in 30 seconds. You know,
Yeah.
it's nuts.
Yeah. And so I feel like half of this series should have been on that ship, and then the back half should have been in that apartment building. And that's all we
Mm-hmm.
needed with those space marines. So,
Mm-hmm.
we would have got the first half would have been alien, the second half would have been aliens, and then it could have ended and with like some vague questions about these hybrids showed up. And that could have been the whole thing. And
Yeah.
it would have been
That's all it
and
needed to be, really.
yeah. And the actors, like the actors they had on the ship did well. All of the actors are doing pretty good work. With I will say the exception of I don't, the boy genius, the head of
Yeah.
this, the CEO,
Mm-hmm.
doing his Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor impression, where all of his eccentricities are like boiled down to he does stuff with his feet, and I'm so tired of watching
Oh
him
yeah.
point with his feet and
Yeah, yeah.
hold his iPad with his feet and use his computer with his feet. And I'm like, I get it. He's into doing stuff with his feet. I mean, it's like that doesn't make him interesting to me. That didn't make him a compelling eccentric. The fact that he does weird. I mean, are you really intrigued that he does stuff with his feet, Tim?
No,
I'm
not at
getting a little
all.
weirded out about it. I feel like somebody has a fetish. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh, Jason says the Wednesday crossover is going to be fire. That
Hey,
would be fire.
absolutely,
I feel like Wednesday
absolutely.
Adams has got all that xenomorph can handle.
Hey, if Wednesday tamed a xenomorph, I wouldn't complain. Okay,
Yeah,
you know
yeah, you'd be like,
that's
yes,
different.
that's exactly what should happen. He said Romulus was good. This feels like a big step back. Like, see, we haven't watched Romulus, but people
Yeah,
said it
I
was good.
mean, but good relative to what, and good in what storyline? I mean, those are the things that
Yeah,
I'll just never understand. You know, good
yeah,
compared to what, and good in what storyline? Does it move the plot of the entire series forward? If it doesn't, then to me, it might have been an entertaining story, but was it really good? You know what I mean? That's kind of where I always gauge these things. So I don't know. We'll see.
yeah. And the other thing, like the 5, like you said, Wendy being able to not only communicate with but tame xenomorphs is probably one of the worst things ever introduced into the franchise. Yes, we
Yeah.
Thug Dog, we
It-
wholeheartedly agree.
there is nothing worse in a monster movie than making the monster not a monster. It's the worst thing you can do. And so they've taken something that is just a monster and they've turned it into a they've turned it into Dino from the Flintstones. I mean, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. When that thing charged out of that lung and just and was just the glass shattered and all kinds of stuff, and yeah, it to have her look at it and like pet it like it's a, you know, like it's an otter or something. It was just weird. It's did anybody in the room say this is silly? What are we doing? Like, you know, these are creatures that don't ever care if you can communicate, if you can't communicate. They're just bloodthirsty monsters. What are we doing? I don't know. The whole thing just seemed odd to me. So yeah.
And as she sits there and smiles and pets it, the sadomasochistic phallic design of the thing becomes even more problematic. Like while she sits there and pets a big gooey penis.
Yeah.
And smiles. And you're like, this isn't right for general audience Disney Plus.
No.
You know, while she sits here and pets the head of this alien penis. That's what it looks like she's doing. Like if somebody walks in and sees me watching this right now, I don't know what they're gonna think I'm watching. You know, and
it's very odd. It's very, very odd. And I don't know. I keep trying to think, oh, well, maybe they'll go ahead and give us something that connects all of this and makes it better. But I just can't see a storyline that's going to work. I just can't see one. So yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, this is a prequel. And like Jon Snow says, Prodigy is not a great corporate villain. And we've talked a lot about Prodigy and the 5 corporations and blah, blah, blah. But we know that Prodigy is like, I mean, I don't know, unless I missed something in the movies that I watched, there was no Prodigy in those movies.
No.
You know, it's violent, you know. So
I feel like
here's
the thing. There's almost always a corporation that's behind the curtain, right? There's almost always some big corporation that's behind the curtain. They're the ones that sent the mission that brought these things in the first place and all right. There's always that, right? You've got InGen, you've got Skynet, you've got now Prodigy. You've got great examples, but what ends up happening almost every time in the series is then that villain becomes more important than the actual villain. And that's where when that happens, that means you've just gone too far. You're out of ideas. All right. It means you don't just want to watch the Terminator terminate people anymore. Right. You've got to have a whole other deep thing behind Terminator. It can't just be Terminator. It's got to be we've got to stop Skynet from even making the Terminator, right? And that's, you know, I feel like this is kind of where we're at now with this series. Is we're to the point where now Prodigy is becoming Prodigy. The story is not aliens chasing people. I want to see aliens chasing people. When it becomes more about InGen and weaponized dinosaurs than it was about just dinosaurs chasing people on an island, you lost me at Jurassic Park, right? And I just feel like there's great opportunity to still introduce a new group of people, how they stumble upon these aliens, and how it just starts killing them one by one until there's only 1 or 2 of them left, right? I feel like it should be a very, very easy story that they kind of fumbled.
Yeah. We got Prodigy here, but by the time Alien comes out, which is only like a few years later, and Aliens and all the other ones, like it's Weyland-Yutani. That is the big corporate behemoth. And they're the ones trying to get these specimens back. And we kind of know that Prodigy and this boy Genius are going to get stomped on by Weyland-Yutani because, like, they run the whole rest of the movie series.
And then it kind of begs the question: why did they have to go back for more specimens if they already had all of this? You know, and it just kind of it just kind of it contradicts itself. It makes it so that you're kind of just like, well, wasn't that supposed to be like? It seems to me like if there's a huge xenomorphic creature that's terrorizing a skyscraper apartment building, that would be pretty big and well publicized news. And if those specimens were still on the planet, that would be pretty big and well publicized news. And those people in the first Alien movie could not have been more surprised when they saw the thing, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. All this is, it's very, very, like I said, it's contradictory. The timeline's not really adding up with it. I appreciate the effort of trying to do a different alien story, but this just doesn't feel like it's working.
Yeah. Now, maybe I don't remember right, and you probably don't remember right either. So maybe
No.
Jason is still in the comment, but like my impression, my remembrance of the first Alien film is that they picked up the facehugger by accident. Like that wasn't the whole reason for their mission. They weren't out there trying to find facehuggers. Like they were doing something totally different. Weren't they mining or something? They weren't out there,
right?
Yeah. They were not out looking for these face huggers. And then when they found one, they're like, oh man, that's awful. And then like in Aliens, everybody like, oh, you found like this thing and it's a killing machine. We want you to go help us find some.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, like, or they were like, oh no, we have a colony attacked. And like but still, it wasn't like everybody knew what they were. They were space truckers. So yeah. So they were like doing a long haul space truck. And you know, they weren't doing U-turn. They were not doing U-turns on the freeway. So, but they were long haul space trucking, and they accidentally come across this thing. So, but they just so happen. See, this is all getting too cute. You know what I'm saying? In the first film, these space truckers who were employed by Weyland-Yutani just so happen to run into this thing that nobody's ever seen before and are terrorized by it. But now come to find out, Weyland-Yutani has known about these things for years. They've sent,
exactly. I mean, Timothy Oliphant's character knows all about it. And you know, he knows all about it. He knows everything about him, you know, and it's just crazy. So
yeah, they were sent out on a whole mission to go get them, you know, and it's like that doesn't sound right. Like they went out of their way to convince Ripley to go with them and Aliens because she knew more about them, having survived that attack of a few days on the ship. She knew more about these creatures than anybody else. How is she the expert on these creatures, having interacted with them one time? If Weyland-Yutani's been out collecting them, that ship had been gone for 50 years because of the cryo sleep. So Weyland-Yutani's been at business collecting.
I believe it was 57. 57, if I'm not mistaken, was the.
So by the time of Alien, they've been at it for like 70 years, for at least for a bare minimum of 70 years. They have been on the hunt for xenomorphs and facehuggers, and they know what they are.
Yeah, and they were back on Earth this whole time, right? I mean, it's like, I don't know. This whole thing is just weird. So,
and yet in Aliens, they got to send Ripley because she's an expert, because she saw one for a day or two while her friends got killed, and she managed to escape. It's what kind of expert is she? She's no kind of expert at all. We've been fighting these things with Space Marines for 70 years. So, I mean, come on. I mean,
yeah, exactly. It's like, it's like if nobody ever told you what a shark was, but you really should know what a shark is by pop culture. And then you go swimming in the water with a bunch of blood and you're like, oh, what's this big scary thing in the water? Right. I mean, it's just like, you know, there's a whole week dedicated to it on the Discovery Channel, man. Go, you know, where you been for the last 60, 70 years, you know? I mean, it's just kind of silly to me. It's so funny that you would think, once again, in a futuristic setting, I mean, you know, think about how quickly news spreads now, right? Think about how quickly bad news spreads now. All right. A huge alien eating and killing an entire skyscraper full of people that has acid blood and all this stuff. I mean, it would have been all over the news, man. Like everybody would have known, hey, here's what one of these looks like. Here's where they came from. And, you know, if you ever see one, run the other way as fast as you can. Okay. But no, I mean, you know, they knew all about it beforehand, all this stuff. But you're right, Dan. In the first Alien movie, it's just like, whoa, wait a second. You know, what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the face hugger. Yeah, the timeline is the best. So they had
That's
the
what I'm
face
talking about.
hugger in the first Alien. They had the face hugger, and then it
Mhm.
comes off, and everybody on that ship is completely shocked when it bursts out of his chest.
Yeah.
They have no idea
No,
that
right?
is what happens next.
But
You
Timothy
know what I'm saying?
Oliphant,
So like,
Timothy Oliphant totally knew. Oh, this is what it happens. It's a parasite. It adjusts, and then it implants, and then he says the whole
then it
thing,
bursts out of your chest. Yeah,
and then it
yeah.
bursts out of your
So,
chest, and then
so that's two mega corporations, Prodigy and Wayland Yutani, both know exactly what happens once the facehugger falls off your face. They know
yeah.
that that's coming out. But like, and the people that in the first movie work for Wayland Yutani, so you'd think like, okay, yeah, they've they should know what happens now.
Mhm.
But no,
They
everybody's
don't.
shocked. Yeah. It's like you said with that shark thing. Like if you and a group of friends went swimming with chum in the middle of the ocean and you were shocked to see sharks show up, but then one of you survives, and
Uh-huh.
then a group of shark hunters grab you out of the ocean because you're the survivor, and now you're the new expert on sharks.
Yeah, that's right. Hey,
Now they're
she
like asking
also
you.
he also knew how to drive that big like thing that they used to move equipment. Remember, she
Yeah,
was good at
yeah,
that too. So
yeah.
that also was the other thing that qualified her for the trip, I think.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like that just doesn't like she's the expert on these things. She saw one time, but okay, we've been chasing these things for 70 years. I think somebody should know more than
Yeah.
her.
Maybe he doesn't make it through this series, but Timothy Oliphant, he would have been a good one to pick. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I think that guy knows a little bit about, but he might
Yeah.
not make it through the series. Maybe that's
If
why.
you could get
But
the,
we'll
the
see.
cyborg dude, that's
Yeah.
trying to steal the
The
eggs.
cyborg guy, Timothy Oliphant. It seems like there's quite a few people who probably would be good people that you could
You know what?
pick and
I'd
get a
send
little more
Wendy.
information from than Ripley.
Yeah, I would send Wendy in Aliens. You just send
Wendy.
Wendy, and she talks to all the xenomorphs, negotiates a peace treaty, and
The brother.
you're
There's all kinds of people, right? I mean,
yeah. You send her brother, the xenomorphs run away from her because they have that hive mind, and they all know that the brother is invincible. They know that they
That's
can't
right.
do anything to him.
We can't kill him.
Yeah.
The other xenomorphs told me that this guy he survives everything. So
Yeah, they're like they know better than to try. They're like, oh, guys, we better just pack up and leave. We're done now. This guy, us and a whole team of predators couldn't take out this guy. Anyway, yeah, that's the problem with prequels. Prequels are a bad idea.
Yeah.
Pick up the story at the point that is interesting. Leave the backstory mysterious, and we don't need to know anything else. There's no such thing. I'm trying to think. Is there a good prequel, Tim? Is like I did the concept begin with Star Wars? Had you ever heard of a prequel
No.
before?
There were
episode one?
prequels. There were prequels before Star Wars. Let's think of. I mean, let's go back and take Indiana Jones. Right, that was probably the first prequel.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Temple of Doom was probably the first prequel, and I think
Yes.
at that point they kind of realized that. But the thing is, Indiana Jones is such like a James Bond-esque type character where the stories are not linear. Yeah, the stories are not linear. They're very, very succinct. They're within the walls of that one movie. So because of that, you can get away with it with Indiana Jones. You can't really get. It's just like Bond. You don't know which Bond movies come first unless you read the books, which most of us have just watched the movies. But you don't know which Bond movies are in order, right? You just watch them, and
it doesn't matter. It
doesn't matter. It's just like the Reacher series right now, right? Each season, does it matter which one came before the other? It really doesn't, So, I would basically say, when you're dealing with stories like that, prequels are okay. But when you're dealing with stuff that's well established, and you're just introducing a prequel in order to kind of mix up the genre a little bit, kind of try to give a little different perspective on a story that we've already seen 1,000 times over. I think that's kind of when you start getting into trouble, because prequels are almost always bad when you have a good established story and you introduce the prequel like decades later. That's never a good, like if they came up with like right now like a Godfather prequel, do you think it would be good? I don't think it would be good. There's just no way, right? Or if they think of any legendary movie trilogy and say to yourself right now, if they came up with a prequel to this movie, would you really want to go watch it? Like I'll never forget
The
about
Young Adventures of
what was it
Inventor
about?
Doc Brown.
About 10 years ago. What was it, about 10? No, it was longer than that. About 15 years ago is when they did the Bates Motel series. Do you remember that, Dan? Do you remember the
I
Bates
remember that
Motel
being on
series?
TV. I didn't watch
Oh
it, but
man.
yeah.
Oh man, it was awful. Okay, and it was awful. And I could have told you it was awful, because who needs an episodic series on the backstory of how they came to the Bates Motel and how he went crazy and how he killed his mom? And nobody needs that. Okay,
Yeah.
Nobody needs that for the story we already have. Nobody.
Yeah.
It's silly.
He had an abusive, overbearing mother, and he killed her. I mean, basically,
Yeah,
I mean, you know everything you need to know.
I know everything I need to know in the movie. I don't need to see, a multi-season series in order to explain it to me. And so whenever you do it, it never works out. And this is just the latest example of it, right?
Yeah.
The Acolyte was another example. There's just a lot of these that we don't want to go down that road. You don't want to go down the road of the prequels, man. It's something that we don't need to be messing with, especially in a series like this.
So Jason is going to do God's work. He's going to spend Labor Day weekend rewatching the entire Alien franchise, and he's going to report back whether this timeline makes any sense at all. and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm thinking it's probably not going to.
Not going to make sense. Yeah.
Well, here's another thing, Tim. Here's another thing. I have seen the second Alien v Predator. The first one takes place on Antarctica with a scientist team, right? And I think only one of them survives anyway. So, okay, nobody knows about aliens or predators by the end of that movie, except for one woman, and who's going to believe her, right? The second Alien v Predator takes place in a small town in modern day. Like small town America, there's a blackout, but like there's a huge fight of xenomorphs and predators in this town in like 2005 or whatever year that came out. That's the year that happened.
Yeah,
so like,
exactly.
Like Alien Earth is in what 2040 or 2060 or I don't know,
something like that.
So like
future.
How are the people? Yeah, like in 2005 or 8 or whatever.
Now,
a small town overran.
I was under the understanding that both the AVP stories are not canon to the story. Is that correct? From what I understand, those are not canon to the story. Those are just kind of like fun, like video game grabbing stories. Like I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's what I heard. So we'll ask Jason or Bone or somebody that knows more about it than us. But
But if they are canon, then people should not be surprised by xenomorphs. Because
but at the same time, right? So in Predator 2, the very end, when Danny Glover is on the spaceship and he takes a look at all the skulls that the Predator has killed, that it hangs up as trophies, there is a xenomorph skull there. So at the very least, right, the existence of the xenomorph was known to mankind at one point, or it should have been. So
I guess Alien v Predator might be canon in the Predator universe, but
maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah. I don't know.
Alien doesn't consider Predator canon, but Predator is not canon. Okay, Jason says Predator is not canon, which is a shame because the first one in Antarctica was lots of fun. I enjoyed that. They had a thing about pyramids. It was all very ancient aliens. I enjoyed it, even though the predators should only show up in places where it's extremely hot and there's a lot of conflict. We
Mhm.
very firmly established that the first two Predator movies. They come in heat waves where
Mhm.
there's conflict. I don't like these movies. I don't like that they're in Antarctica. I don't like that they're in the cartoon fighting Norse women and getting their ass kicked. It's not fun. but but whatever, we just all have to find new ways to do this. And Bob, if you're out there, Iger wants your ideas for fresh IP to get young men in the theater.
Yes.
Because
I think, I
yeah,
don't know about you, Dan, but I think if young men are not watching a series about a young girl android that is going to tame xenomorphs like puppies, I don't know what else is going to get them to watch. I mean,
yeah,
hey man, this was clearly something they pitched out there. Hey, I know we're losing
yeah,
men. How's this hit you, Bob? Okay, we're gonna have her pet the xenomorph as as the music starts playing. It's just so silly. There are so many reasons that you can pinpoint looking at just this series as to why Disney is struggling with getting men in the theater. It's not that
yeah.
hard, guys.
Hey,
It's not
Bob,
that hard. Yeah.
here's an idea. We're going to take the franchise that was founded by what many could argue was Arnold Schwarzenegger's greatest film,
Yeah.
right? And we're going to make the protagonist a young Native American girl. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to release that on Hulu. And then the next film that's actually on the big screen, we're gonna have a female android teach predators how to hunt. That's
Mhm.
gonna be the next film. And like guys, the movie that was all about who could get their muscles to ripple more. Uh, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse Ventura, or Carl Weathers.
Mhm.
That movie. We're gonna follow
Dude,
that up with the
and
young
and
Native
and
American
here's the
girl.
thing. The great thing about that movie is like a perfect example of why you just introduce a group of people and have a monster chase them, right? I
Yeah,
love the first Predator movie because they take over the town. They have that one girl that's supposed to be their guide that they kind of take hostage. Carl Weathers is kind of a bad guy the whole time that knew that they were that kind of set them up, right? I
yeah,
mean, the whole thing is a great story of conflict right within there. And then by the way, there's a predator that's hunting them, right? And that's the story. The story is that the predator is hunting them. It's not the story about how Carl Weathers was a sleazebag. That's not the
yeah.
story. Okay. If they made that today, that would be the main story. That would be the
Yes.
main story, is how Carl Weathers was a sleazebag and two-timed him and all this stuff. That's not even sort of the main plot. A lot of people, you talk to them if they've seen Predator and it's been a while, you mention it to them and they're like, I don't remember that. Why?
Yeah.
Why don't they remember that? Because they remember the monsters killing people. That's all they
Yeah.
remember. They remember the predator
Yeah.
hunting down the gorillas. That's all they remember.
The predator is like it's the perfect time capsule of the era because the first whatever it is 45 minutes 30 minutes is like it may be Arnold's best action movie. It may be his best war action movie. The whole mercenary thing at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning with Carl Weathers and invading the town and being in the jungle, like that section is an amazing, just little Rambo commando style action movie. But then on top of that, you have this amazing science fiction movie and this amazing horror movie. And it's just all in this perfect ball of like entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
and as a company, if you can own things like Predator and Alien and Star Wars and Marvel, and you can't get young men to come to the theater, like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? What is wrong with you? I mean, And then you're like, oh, could somebody invent some original IP for us? And it's like, no, absolutely not. Why would they give it to you, Bob? Why would anybody want you in charge of their IP that's aimed at young men? No, I think they're going to go to Universal, where they can at least still make dinosaur movies where people get eaten. They may be overly complicated, stupid, but the dinosaur eats people. I just, it's just, it's a travesty.
I did see. I mean, yeah, and this is crazy. The fact that they actually have kind of said, like, man, we can't crack the code, guys. Like, why are men not coming to see these movies? But then you just go down the line. It's just like female protagonist, female protagonist, female protagonist, female protagonist, female protagonist, and we actually have heard from Disney, right? We've actually heard it from their own mouth. When we did the undercover, when the guy did the undercover thing, if there is a cis white male, they are not going to be the protagonist of the movie, right? So
you're not going to get promoted in the company.
They are absolutely positively making an effort to do everything to work against getting men in the theaters. And then they're just saying, well, why aren't men coming to the theaters? It doesn't take a rocket scientist, guys. You guys have completely and totally fumbled the ball, all in the name of some social justice, equality baloney that you're believing. And now you're trying to figure out how you can still do all of that and get men in the theaters. That's your problem. You're still trying to figure out, hold on, we don't want to give up all that stuff. We just want the guys to come see the movie. It doesn't work that way, okay? The reason the guys aren't coming to see the movie is because of the stuff, okay?
Yeah.
So if you stop doing the stuff, maybe they'll come back.
Yeah, I will admit, we're slow. Men are slow. It took us about 20 years of put a chick in it and make her gay for us to finally be like, oh, wait, this isn't for us anymore.
Yeah.
You brought up all our favorite things and took a poop on them.
But did it really take that much to get us to go see Avengers? I mean, okay, so we had Captain America, we had Thor, we had Iron Man, we had Hulk, we had the Black Widow in leather pants. I mean, you had everything to pull a man in that you possibly could. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see why men went to see that movie in droves. It doesn't take a mathematician to be like, oh, yes, that number is significantly higher than what we're doing now. I wonder what the difference was. It really shouldn't take a genius. Okay. Just do that. Do stuff that men want to see. This series should have been easy. It should have been the easiest thing ever. All right. Just give us a group of people, have them constantly chased by aliens. In Yahtzee, man, people are going to love it. All right. But they couldn't even do that. They couldn't even do that.
Give us 10 or 15 people and you kill one or two an episode.
That's it. And that's all we wanted. That's all we wanted.
Every other episode, you our favorite character so that we don't know who's safe.
That's it.
It's pretty simple. Like sometimes you kill a bad one. You don't always kill the favorite character because then you don't want people getting used to the idea. Okay, this guy's the lead. Now he's dead. But you juggle it back and forth. You try to keep people guessing about who dies next, and then you make it fun. And dude, nobody, as anybody with significant screen time, died in this show.
No. Everybody that was eaten by a xenomorph, we were introduced to in 5 minutes or less, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we had the whole crew of the ship except for our android friend, our cyborg friend, who is still trying to steal eggs. So that whole crew got killed, but we got 5 whole minutes with them out of and that was 10 people that we got 5 minutes with. So they each got 20 seconds or less. And then we got the whole team of Space Marines, which we got one rooftop scene with the brother. We established one rooftop, and we have thrown these Lost Boys, the hybrids. We have thrown them at the xenomorph a bunch of times, and like they won't even lose one of them.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just pick one, give us an extra one, kill it,
Yeah.
kill it, so that we feel
Yeah.
like. And then when the husband, the little tech guy, has his meltdown, he could have like a real reason to melt down. We spent all this money. We're in the final testing phases, and we lost a prototype. How much better would that be? How much higher would this?
So much better than what they're giving us right now.
I mean, he honestly could have just said, "You burger." He could have been full Swedish chef. But if they had killed one of the Lost Boys, it would still be better. You know, like somebody could have walked up, stuck their hands through his arms while he did this, and he could have went virgin. But if one of them had died, it would work.
Yeah.
Like, there are
I don't
no
know, man.
stakes.
It's not that hard, and they're making it hard. You know, this story should have been a slam dunk. It should have been easy. When I saw an Alien series, that's what I thought I was getting, you know? And to be fair, I mean, in the first episode, they gave us a lot of alien stuff. They did. But I think the biggest problem is we knew right away they did it all in one episode. They did it all in one episode, and we knew it. We even said it 2 weeks ago on this very platform. We said they just gave us all the alien stuff we're going to get for a substantial part of the series. And so now we've gone 2 episodes where we don't see an alien chase anybody. We kind of talk about them a little bit, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I'm beyond the point where I really care what happens in the series. I'm going to finish it because we do this show, but I just don't understand why I'm supposed to care. And 4 episodes is just going to be a drag, man. It's going to be a drag.
We did watch a space eyeball kill a sheep. We saw that. Were you horrified, Tim? Were you scared?
Oh yeah. You know,
did
especially when
but yeah. I mean, does this live up to the tagline, you know, in space, no one can hear you scream? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
This is supposed to have horror vibes. You're supposed to be afraid. And
like, do you remember, man, like, I remember when they rebooted Night of the Living Dead, like in the, what was it, 80s or 90s? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They rebooted Night of the Living Dead, and then they did like sequels to it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I saw Night of the Living Dead 3. I was staying home from school that day, okay, because I was sick. And it was on TV, and I was like, okay, Night of the Living Dead 3, I'm sick. Let's just turn it on and watch it. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, okay?
Yeah.
All because they decided to do all this stuff that, you know, they decided to do the secret lab in New York City that was in the sewer. And it was just, it's like, guys, zombies eating people. That's all I really needed. You know, all I needed, zombies eating people that are trapped in a house, people that are trapped somewhere on a farm or something. It's really not that hard, you know.
Zombies eat brains.
That's it. You know, I don't need this whole backstory about where the virus came from and where you're getting way too complicated, man. And so this just kind of feels to me very much the same. It feels very much the same, like Night of the Living Dead 3 from like 1991 or whatever it was. So
like, this is the time that you need to be spending with my protagonists in their everyday life so that you make me care about them just a little bit where the monster kills them. You know what I'm saying? They have to be going about their everyday life for the first act of this so that you're like, oh, these are good people. Man, I hope that guy makes it. You know, you pick a few and you're like, oh man, I hope this is the one that makes it. And then you care when he's
the only one. The brother's the only one they did
suspense.
that with.
Yeah. And then there's no suspense because immediately you decide, oh, he's a Mary Sue. He's
the only one. Yeah, he's the only one that we've seen all these backgrounds for, and that's the main issue. You know what I mean? That's the main issue. There's no suspense. I have no reason to care for any other character, and that's the main problem. So yeah.
I don't think I don't know. I do think probably since it's Wayland Yutani is the dominant corporation of Alien as we know it. So Prodigy is going away. So probably Footboy gets eaten by a xenomorph before this is over, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I
going to
would think
happen.
so. I would think so.
Do we care if anybody else, like, I don't know, Timothy Oliphant, the android, has actually kind of picked it up a little bit. I kind of like him, but not enough to
Yeah.
care.
I feel like he's the obvious, like, he's the obvious guy because he's probably the only well-known actor in the show. So
Yeah.
he's the guy that I feel like is going to have like maybe some kind of hero moment or something where he sacrifices himself or something,
Yeah.
There's just something like that, because that's usually the case when you get a character like that. When you get a well-known actor, there are two things. You're either going to get a heel turn, and we're going to find out that Timothy Oliphant was behind everything the whole time, or he's going to have a sacrificial moment. So I don't think we're going to find the heel turn is going to fit the story. So,
Yeah.
but we'll
He's
see.
going
I mean,
to
who knows?
he's going to save Wendy's brother again. Like, it's going to be one of the many ways that Wendy's brother does not get killed by a xenomorph. Wendy's going to be tied up doing
Probably.
something else.
Probably.
And it's going to be down to Tim to save him.
That's right.
Do we think the other Lost Boys make it? Do they start popping them off at some point? Do we
They've
get one of
got
them?
to. I mean, it's kind of weird because I do feel like FX is kind of pulling back a little bit on the fact that they are children.
Yeah.
So even though they're in adult bodies, I think they are kind of pulling back on, we really don't want to kill these children. But I think if there's anything that is done, it's going to be off screen. I don't think we're going to see it. But I do think off screen, we will probably have something happen to at least a couple of them. I think the redhead is probably going to be in that mix. Okay.
Yeah.
Curly might be in that mix too. Who knows? But, because they seem to be the two malcontents. So we'll see.
Yeah, because the hybrids, the children, they are the only sympathetic characters that could be killed that would have any impact, any drama. There were like if they kill the what's his name, the head of the corporation, Footman.
Nobody cares, right?
Nobody cares. But most people would be like, "Yay, I'm glad Footman's dead." If Whiny Lab Tech, if the husband Whiny Lab Tech dies, like, you're like, screw him. He was whiny. You don't really care about him.
Agreed.
He's not a good person to care. And even the face, the woman, you don't. I guess she's half semi sympathetic, but not to. She's like a filler character. Like, oh yeah, that's definitely somebody you could off. Like, that wouldn't be surprising at all. Like, that would not raise any stakes. Like, she is the most obvious choice to die. you know? Yeah. So, yeah, if you're going to create any stakes, they have to start killing these kids, which sounds awful. But hey, I didn't write this thing. I didn't decide who the cast was.
I didn't decide to make them kids. Yeah, exactly. Which was an interesting choice. Okay, it was a very interesting choice. But yeah, that's now it's kind of stuck where that actually is the only thing that would kind of make this compelling. Dan, you're right. So
yeah, I didn't kill off the ship crew and all the space marines in like 10 minutes across 2 episodes. I didn't do that. So I'm sorry, but. And I mean, honestly, if the brother gets killed, I'm going to be happy. I'm tired of him surviving this.
I feel like they're gonna I know you didn't watch The Walking Dead, but there was a character named Glenn, and he just never would die, right? Everything that would happen would just conveniently happen where he wouldn't die, and then they finally killed him, and it was so anticlimactic because you're just like, well, they should have killed him like 4 seasons ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what this reminds me of. It's just like the brother at some point he's going to die. I feel like he's not going to make it through the series. So if he's going to die, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Is this you're just kind of wasting time. Honestly, you're wasting time, and you're putting him in these things to try to stir up trouble and drama that we all know is eventually not going to come to fruition anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah, if they kill Wendy, and he's the survivor, maybe that would be
the only acceptable reason for him to be alive, I think.
Yeah,
but
that could be surprising. That could be a twist that maybe you didn't see coming. I still don't know if it would make it. Again, I watched the beginning of this episode and I was not hating it as much as you were, Jason, through the beginning of this episode, because I was resigned to the idea that I was going to get second-rate Blade Runner. I thought this was going to be deep, hard sci-fi about philosophy and spirituality and what is the definition of sentience, what constitutes consciousness, what makes you. You know what I'm saying? The questions that they were delving into in the conversation with the brother of, like, with the right-hand man there saying, like, do you think it's her? And it's like, because we want to know if it's her, because if you think it's her and she thinks she's her, we could sell people on the idea that she's her, and that when we do it to them, that's going to be them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's a deep thing. Like, can we reach the singularity? If we can upload all our memories into a computer and save it in a hard drive, is that us? You know what I'm saying? If we could download that into a clone body or a cyborg body or something, is that something new, or is that us? Those are like, that's hard sci-fi. That's like hardcore, deep philosophical sci-fi. It's fun to ponder. You know what I'm saying? And I was resigned to, like, okay, that's what we're gonna get here. And I could sit and watch it. It's not thrilling. You know what I'm saying? But and we were getting it Blade Runner style. We were definitely not getting it Star Trek style, because Star Trek does this too. You've got Data. Is Data person? He have rights? Is he the property of the Federation? Whatever. Is he fully autonomous? Picard gets downloaded in the Picard series into a new body. Is that him? Is it not him? But Star Trek has a much more shiny, optimistic outlook on all of these things. We were definitely getting the Blade Runner vibe of it, but now I feel like we are getting Star Trek. We get a lot of talk about, what is consciousness? Are these hybrids human? And then we get the fact that the monster alien was really just misunderstood, which in Star Trek, the monster alien is always just misunderstood. Yeah.
No. You don't understand. The reason that their fleet is getting ready to attack you is because they're protecting their planet, their nursery planet of all their children, or something like that. It was always like that with Star Trek. Like, always it was something like that. And then it was like, oh, how did we not know that? Because we could have just asked, and then we would have known, but we didn't.
Yeah.
And it's just always that way. And so this is just another play on that, and it's just tired. It's not anything that's fun to watch. Honestly, I'm over it. I don't know about you, Dan. I'm completely over it. If it wasn't for doing this every week, I wouldn't be watching it. I don't know about you. I wouldn't be watching it. I would have been done probably after I saw her pet the xenomorph.
Yeah. That's a very disappointing, because I could have hung in for a few more episodes of, like, soul searching
Blade Runner stuff. Yeah.
Blade Runner stuff. But pet xenomorphs just really turned me off. So yeah, unless that we open the next episode and that xenomorph kills her, I'm back in. I'm like, okay. Okay, now that took a turn I didn't see coming.
Yeah, exactly. Give me something unexpected, right? Give me something, right?
Yeah. At this point, nothing unexpected has happened. Everything is very clearly telegraphed, and you can see it coming from a mile away. it's just like, please give me a surprise, any kind of
Yeah.
surprise, and you know, give me
But a good
tension.
surprise. A good surprise. Don't give me, don't give me a different kind of like twist or storyline or something about the corporation or so. I don't care about that, Just give me alien stuff. If there's one thing that could make this better, just have the next couple episodes be just a lengthier version of the movie Alien. That's what I want. They're on a
Yeah.
ship or they're in a building or they're whatever, and they're getting hunted down. That would be my ideal way to close the series, but I don't think they're going to do that.
No, they gave us like 20 minutes of that in episode. Well, they gave us like 10 minutes of that in episode 2, and that's all they're interested. And they gave us like 90 seconds of it in episode 1. They're like, okay, that's enough of that already.
Yep.
On to the pet xenomorph. Wendy's gonna sick him on the boy genius because she realized that he's not nice.
Hey, but here's the deal. Here's the deal, Dan. Okay. At some point, just because this is in the future, so this does exist, somewhere on Earth, there are people that have guns, and those guns, when pointed at a xenomorph, will tell the Indoraptors to attack the xenomorph. So, I think that we're going to have Wendy with her xenomorph army versus the InGen army with the Indoraptors, and we'll see who comes out on top. That's my prediction.
Yeah, there we go. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's kind of sad, but we'll see. Maybe, just maybe, they still have it in them to surprise us somehow, but I don't see it. I don't see it. But
Not gonna happen.
anyway, that's our take on Alien Earth this week. And then also, I'm telling you right now, the pet xenomorphs were bad enough. We took a hard left turn into the alternative rock with Jane's Addiction, and if next week they end with Nirvana, I'm telling you right now, Tim, I'm not finishing it. I'm not watching this. I'm not watching anymore. If you give me Black Sabbath, followed by Tool, followed by Metallica,
they're gonna go even more alternative next week. It'll be like Blink 182 or something, and Dan will just be like, "I'm done. I'm done.
I'm done. No, I'm out. They're taking your alternative rock. No." So that's all I'm saying. If I hear Kurt Cobain, I am out. I'm done.
I get it.
So until next week, I'm Dan. This is Tim. You have found us. We are the Nerd Champs. This is where we are. Jason is at Your Imaginary Podcast, and he's on the Instagram, and you can find him there. Tim, OH.
Horns down, IO.
All right.